Welcome. This is Trifecta Sports Talk. Yep, just change the name on the fly. Name is Tanner Bell. Alongside me today is Justin Doyle. Justin, what's up?
Hey,
Before we get into it today, we like to go to sporting events. Everyone likes to go to sporting events. Check out ticketliquidators.com. You can get Red Sox tickets. The season's coming up in April. You can get Bruins tickets. The team's getting hot to the playoffs. The Celtics are the number 2 seed in the East. There's concerts. It's all over. So head over to ticketliquidators.com and you can use the promo code TSN5. That takes 5% off an order of $150 or more. Thank you. You'll thank us later. Have fun at the event. Let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics. And the Boston Celtics post All-Star break haven't been the most exciting team in the league. They're on a West Coast swing right now against a lot of teams they should be able to beat. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers in the first game of the West Coast trip. But the Lakers were in it for the entire game, and the Celtics didn't look as dominating as they should. But it was a return. Avery Bradley was back in the game, so he was finally back. But they headed to Phoenix, and the Phoenix game was on Sunday night. They headed to Phoenix, Isaiah Thomas's old team, and the Boston Celtics lost. For the majority of the game, the first three quarters, they weren't really into it. And then in the fourth, they got close, and they got a 4-point lead. I think Jaylen Brown missed a free throw with like 50 seconds to go at the 4-point lead. And then it came down to it. Jay Crowder inbounded to Isaiah Thomas. It was a tie game. Should have went to overtime, and Isaiah mishandled the ball. And the Suns hit a game-winning 3-point shot as time expired. And after the game, Isaiah Thomas actually didn't really take ownership of that turnover at the end. He kind of said Jay Crowder held on to it too long, saying he wasn't throwing Jay under the bus, but he also threw Jay Crowder underneath the bus. Isaiah's always pointing to his watch. But Justin, what's up with the little guy?
oh, the little guy. That's Tommy's favorite word. I've said it before, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen many of his post-game interviews, so I really haven't really got a feel for his personality other than what you see on the court. I mean, he's definitely not a Rondo, but I mean, he's not selfish, but he's still selfish, especially with that kind of comment. The not so clever, he held onto the ball so long, so I dropped it or anything like that. But I mean, he's good, but I don't know if he's good enough to say that, oh, that guy's the reason why we lost. It's not my fault. I don't think he's like Kevin Durant status where he can get away with saying stuff like that. I mean, Durant can't really get away with saying it, but when you're that good at basketball, it's kind of hard to argue. With the loss, I mean, I didn't see much of the game. I saw the highlight of the Suns buzzer beater. I mean, when a guy hits that kind of shot, you just kind of gotta clap your hands at him and say, good win, because that was a ridiculous shot. You got off with like 0.1 seconds left, and I don't know. Hopefully they can close it out. I mean, they should make it to the playoffs, but I don't know how far they're going to get.
That's the issue with this team. Isaiah Thomas is an interesting guy. Compared him to Rajon Rondo, obviously I like Isaiah better than Rondo, but that's not saying much. Rondo wasn't a very good guy to begin with. Wasn't actually that talented of a player. I mean, obviously he could pass the ball, but Isaiah is weird. I mean, he's 5'9" in the NBA, so you kind of have to have that cockiness that he does bring. The issue is with him, I think he's not. I don't know. He's a max contract guy in the NBA, but I don't think he's going to be the leading guy on a championship team. He's not good as Steph Curry. He's not good as LeBron James. He's not Kyrie Irving. Sure, he could go toe to toe any day of the week with those guys, but he's just not that kind of player. And I think that's the issue with the Celtics is they have all these kind of players who they're nice guys, good players. They're just not great. They're not going to get you over the edge. And earlier this week, Paul Pierce actually said that he's handing the torch to Isaiah Thomas. Paul, slow your roll, buddy. Really got to slow your roll. Isaiah Thomas isn't a future Hall of Famer. Not yet. He hasn't won a championship, and I don't think he is capable of being the focus of the championship team where Paul Pierce was one.
Mm-hmm.
Could Isaiah be the second guy, a third guy in the championship team? Sure. But the issue is your second best player on paper is Al Horford, and he's like a fourth or fifth guy in the championship team. So the Celtics have all these kind of little things where they're not where they need to be. Jaylen Brown might be a Rookie of the Year candidate. Since the All-Star break, he's averaging like 13 points a game. He's on the court. He's making plays, hitting clutch shots. He still has the rookie mistake, but Rookies are going to have that. You can accept 1 or 2 mistakes a game from a rookie. And that's something that Claude Julien of the Bruins actually failed to do, and that's why he was fired, or one of the reasons he was fired. But you see Brown stepping up, Terry Rozier starting to step up, Avery Bradley's back, Marcus Smart, he's the hustle man. But Celtics, like you said, Justin, I'm not convinced. I don't think they're going to win an NBA championship this year. Might be 2 or 3 years away from that. But they're right there. They're the second seed in the East, right behind Cleveland. I think they're 2-3 games out of first place. But you just still don't see it. It's tough, and it's a tough thing. And to talk about Paul Pierce, Boston Celtics, most people probably watch this after, but the Boston Celtics are actually playing Paul Pierce for the last time on Monday night. It's in LA, playing against the Clippers. He's playing for Doc Rivers, former coach of the Boston Celtics, coincidentally. So Paul's done. Not coming back. He's probably going to retire a member of the Boston Celtics. But Justin, what does Paul Pierce mean to you? I know it means a lot to the city of Boston, but specifically, what Paul Pierce moment do you most remember?
I mean, I don't know if I can pick one because honestly, I didn't watch basketball that much back then. I mean, I'd probably say when it was the big three, and then with Garnett and whoever the other guy was. I'm really bad with names.
Ray Allen.
That's that one.
Ray Allen, the all-time 3-point leader.
I can never remember his name. I don't know why. I always go that guy that could only shoot threes. Probably when they brought another championship. I think. What year was that again? What was that?
2008.
2008. Yep. So that was like the kickoff to the City of Champions. I mean, after the Red Sox won, but I mean, and then the Patriots won, the Bruins won a couple years after that, and then now we got the Patriots and the Red Sox, and then hopefully the Celtics again soon. So I mean, I don't know. Just Paul Pierce he was like Big Papi. He was like the Big Papi of the Celtics. I mean, you can't really hate the guy. You can't blame him you can't blame the Red Sox for having him. The Red Sox, the Celtics for getting rid of him just because he was getting old. I mean, he means a lot to the city. It'd be nice to see him come back and maybe play a game or sign some weird one-day contract thing where he becomes a Celtic for like 24 hours, so then they can say he can retire as a Celtic. I think I've read that he wants to do that if it's possible. I wouldn't trade for him because that'd just be kind of dumb. I know you can't trade for him now because it's trade deadline's passed, but I'm glad they didn't make some kind of trade for him just for the sake of doing it.
I think Paul Pierce is the memory I remember the most. Obviously, like I could say winning the 17th championship, Banner 17. I could say that. Him playing alongside Kevin Garnett, Leon Poe, James Posey, Ray Allen. I could say it was that moment of him being there and him sweating it out. But to me, the moment, it's really the years. The years where the Boston Celtics weren't that good of a basketball team. Well, Paul Pierce was the best player on that team. He decided to stick it out. He could have left. He didn't have to sign contracts with Boston. He stayed in Boston on teams that were really, really bad. We're talking about basement dwelling teams. And he gritted it out. He carried that team a lot of years. And the fact that he did that to me is what I'll remember Paul Pierce as. He was a loyal player. He stood by the team and the franchise, and he saw it through. He won a 17th NBA championship for the Boston Celtics. He's a Hall of Famer in my book. Is he a top 5 Boston Celtics player of all time? He's not Bill Russell. He's not Kevin McHale. He's not Larry Bird. He's not Havlicek. He might not be Cousy. I mean, he's up there, though. He's 6th or 7th all time. But that's saying something on a team that has won 17 NBA championships. And maybe his second biggest contribution, honestly, was getting traded to the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Garnett, because that got you a guy like Marcus Smart, that got you a guy like Jaylen Brown, and that set up this current team that, in my mind, is set up and poised to be a competitive team for the next 5 years. They're really in a good situation right now, and they can only get better with young players, all these draft picks, assets, and they're going to have cap room to add another max contract. And will Isaiah be given a max contract? I don't know. But Paul Pierce, to me, embodies what a great Celtic is. He embodies that mantra that is around the team. And you should be in the Hall of Fame one day. We're going to move on to our next topic, and that is the New England Patriots. The Patriots won a Super Bowl basically a month ago today. They won their 5th NFL Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons. They came back, massive deficit, but now we're sitting here, and they just signed James Delvin to a 2-year contract. He's the fullback, and you have a bunch of players set to be free agents for the New England Patriots. And what do you got? LeGarrette Blount's free agent, Martellus Bennett, Dante Hightower, Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler. They have to work out his contract still. He's not going to be a free agent, but they have to work out the money. And if you don't make him happy, he could leave. Because last 2 years, he's been the best cornerback in football, and he's been underpaid. You got Jimmy Garoppolo, who in 12 months is going to be a free agent. You could tag a franchise tag, but you're going to be paying him $20 million plus. So you have to contemplate whether or not to trade him. So, Justin, if you're Bill Belichick, the GM of the New England Patriots, the coach, the leader, what would you do? Do you want to re-sign a guy like Dante Hightower after you lost Chris Long too? Do you want to re-sign like a Logan Ryan? Do you franchise Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you trade him? What do you do if you're Bill Belichick, Justin?
I mean, I don't know, and I can't really say what he'd do because you can't really get inside of his head. But I mean, just throwing some insights. I mean, I'm looking at the list, and there's a lot of big names for free agents. I mean, like LG, Allen Branch, Harmon, Hightower, Long. Well, he's gone. So Logan Bryan said that Jabal Sheard actually played very well this year. Vollmer I think they released him, didn't they?
Yeah, Sebastian Vollmer is actually probably going to retire. That's the report I've been seeing.
Yeah. I mean, Hightower is going to want big money.
Yeah, look at the contract that Chandler Jones got with the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's a similar contract that you'll probably see. Hightower probably go for 4 years, $8 million, I believe, was a contract that Chandler Jones just got with Arizona. I think Dante Hightower's in that ballpark.
I don't know if I'd want to pay him that because I mean you got a guy like Flowers. He played very well this year. You might want to keep him. Sheard played well. You're going to be able to get them for a lot. Maybe not a lot cheaper, but you know when we talk about millions of dollars, $2 million cheaper, $3 million cheaper is a lot of money. So I'd say, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they did sign him. But I wouldn't be mad if they let him go. I think they might let him play the free agent market and then maybe tell him, you know, we'll give you like $6 million for a couple of years, and if you don't like it, well then see you later. Because that's a Belichick thing to do. And then going to Garoppolo, I have no idea. I mean, I'm hearing all sorts of things like, keep him till week 4 and then trade him because then everyone that drafted a quarterback and started him out of college are going to suck and they're going to want somebody who's played 5 games. And I've heard other things like, I want Bennett instead of Garoppolo because he's injury prone because he got hurt on like play 12 of his NFL career. So I don't know. I don't really want Garoppolo because I have not want, but I don't think they need him because he wants to start. He's borderline starter at this point. We've seen that he has the ability to start a game and win. Whether or not it's against a good team or not is another thing, but I have faith in what's the third string guy's name?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yes, Brissett. Thank you. Brain fart. I kind of like him better. I think he'd fit with the Patriots a little bit better because, like I said earlier, Garoppolo, maybe he's a little injury prone, and Brady's probably playing until he's 50. So Brady's here for at least another year, probably 2, unless he gets another major injury.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Dante Hightower, $8 million, maybe he's going to get something like that. Patriots kind of could use the linebacker. I thought trading a guy like Chandler Jones, trading what's his face, who went to Cleveland, can't even think of his name, Jamie Collins, trading Jamie Collins. So I thought trading those 2 guys, you'd want to re-sign Dante Hightower. I think they're going to do what they did to Devin McCourty. They're going to be like, hey, Dante, here's what we can offer you. It's going to be fair, competitive offer. If you want to go test the market, go ahead. This offer is still going to be here. I think they're going to want to retain him. I think they need to retain him. Chris Long is way gone. Martellus Bennett is the best tight end in the market. Nothing close to him, so he's gone. Martellus Bennett's gone. He's taking the money and run. He won a Super Bowl. He's good. He's leaving like the Darrelle Revis. See you later. Fine. Great player, but Patriots are going to either have to draft the tight end or they got to go to the free agent market. Got guys like Vernon Davis out there, Jordan Cameron, Jared Cook. It's just not great names out there, so they might draft. That's why they should have kept A.J. Derby last year. Belichick had a brain fart, didn't. Let's look at the running back, LeGarrette Blount. I think they let LeGarrette Blount test the free agency market, and if his price isn't that great, I think he comes back to New England. I think they'll bring him in for a couple million if he doesn't get a better offer elsewhere, but if he does, he's gone too. So what are they going to replace him with? Maybe a guy like Christian McCaffrey is projected to go, I think, 19th in the NFL draft. He's from Stanford, has good attributes. He feels like a Belichick guy. Might trade up to get him. I don't know, because the Patriots are also potentially trading they wanted to trade their 32 pick to the Saints for Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver. So who knows what the Patriots are actually going to try to do with the first round draft picks. Then you got Adrian Peterson, who's a free agent now, running back. Bring him in. Maybe he wants to win a championship. Maybe that's the one thing that's eluded Adrian Peterson. He's played on a losing team for a losing franchise called the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe he wants to come to New England, win a championship. He'll do it on the cheap. He has something to prove. Maybe. Belichick likes guys who can prove something. If AP has anything left in the tank, he's going to give you his all. So that's something interesting to look at. Jacoby Brissett, I completely disagree with you, Justin. I do not think the Patriots think he is the quarterback of the future, and for that reason, I believe that is the reason why they're not trading Jimmy Garoppolo at the moment. And I don't think the trade market for Garoppolo is that great. If they wanted to trade him, they should have traded him months ago, because right now he's 12 months away from being a free agent. So if you're a team, what's the difference between trading a first-round asset now or waiting 12 months? For them, they'd rather wait 12 months at that point. The Patriots aren't going to get the return they want in Jimmy Garoppolo unless they're blown away. I don't think they trade him. The report was that if they were looking at free agent quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, guys like Brian Hoyer, because if they did trade Jimmy Garoppolo, they didn't trust Jacoby Brissett to be the backup to Tom Brady. That's a report. I don't think they have as much faith as Jacoby Brissett as you do, but who knows? This team's losing a lot of pieces to free agency, but you get Rob Gronkowski back. That's a big piece. Danny Amendola, I think he's going to restructure his contract. Edelman's a decent piece. I think Brady plays the next 3 years. With Garoppolo, if you don't trade him next year, you're going to have to decide, put a franchise tag on him. If you do, it's $25 million, I think, the projected quarterback thing. That's insane to ride the bench for Tom Brady. So I think Garoppolo, potentially you sign him to a team-friendly 2-year, 3-year deal, and you basically tell him, hey, look, you're the guy, and you've been here before. Stay here, sign this friendly contract, and when you're the guy, you're going to have a team around you that can win. And that's what you sell them on. You can win here. And you can be the guy to do it. You might be 26, 27 years old before he gets a starting role. But I think Brady plays the next 3 seasons. It's all nice to say, though. We're all saying this stuff, but with Bill Belichick, you can never predict what's going to happen. All these options just – it could go any way. He could decide, hey, I don't want anybody back. I am drafting. I'm signing some undrafted guy from Rutgers, a lacrosse player. Like that, you never know. With this guy, like Chris Hogan, he's a lacrosse player. Or he might, like a guy like Nate Ebner plays rugby. Like, you don't really know what's going to happen. So our next topic of discussion is Adam McQuaid of the Boston Bruins. Justin, why don't you tell the folks what happened to Adam McQuaid?
I didn't see it live because I had on the background, but I saw the replay. They were on, I think that was the defensive zone. They're trying to clear the puck, and there's a pile up along the boards. David Backes kind of lost his footing. One of his feet went up in the air and caught McQuaid in the neck area. And so it's not a direct quote from McQuaid, but he said that he put his hand up to his neck, check, make sure everything is okay. He said he didn't see any blood. So he said, oh, okay, I'm fine. I'm going to keep skating. So he finished his shift. I don't know. It's probably only like another 20 seconds or so. But, I mean, when you're bleeding from the neck, that's a pretty long time. And he got to the bench, sat down, and I think I read it was Kevin Miller or Colin Miller?
I think it was Colin Miller. Yeah.
Whatever Miller was playing that night said, "Hey, guy, you might want to go talk to the trainer," or whatever he said. So then he went back and he ended up with stitches in his neck. I think he may have come back. I don't know if he came back and played. If there was time, he definitely did because that's a hockey player thing to do. I mean, they don't really care. The only way they don't play is if they can't walk. So they're just tough SOBs.
I think he had 25 stitches or something in his neck. I believe read he did come back and play. I can't remember specifically, but that's a hockey player right there, Adam McQuaid. I think he's one of the grittiest players I've seen in the modern era. Right up there with a guy like Sean Thornton. That level of commitment to the game is the reason why hockey is different than any other sport. Closest thing to it's potentially football, but it's just different. They play through anything. Like you've seen players in Boston play their shift on a broken leg. They don't even know until it's over. It's just that adrenaline rush. I completely believe McQuaid when he said he had no idea that he was bleeding from the neck. That's it for Trifecta Sports Talk. I've been your host, Tanner Bello. Justin Doyle was alongside me. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week.